In 2024, we are all focused on healing. And right now, a lot of the chosen ones are healing from lifetime traumas. And, you might be going about your journey and you might ask yourself, why am I going through this? Why am I going through this, God? Is that you? Do you go through a stretch in your life? It might be a troublesome time. It might cause a lot of trauma in your body. And you might ask yourself, why am I going through this? And God knows that you are a chosen one. You are someone that has abilities that are exceeding ordinary. When you move from ordinary to extraordinary, you start to create things that the rest of the world can learn from. And that's what we need right now in order to build a better world, a better earth. We need extraordinary people. Are you extraordinary? You could let us know in the comments. Of course you're extraordinary. And, sometimes at face value, when we go through things in our everyday life that really cause a lot of trauma, the trials, the tribulations that you go through. Maybe this past year you might have lost a job. Maybe you dealt with narcissistic abuse. Maybe you lost a loved one. There are many different things that can cause a lot of trauma in the body. And we all go through this, and we go through this. God knows that you have special abilities. God knows that you're able to heal these traumas, and that's why you might have been dealt the deck of cards that you've been dealt. And that's why you have been chosen, if you will, to heal from these traumas so that the rest of the world can heal from them as well. If you're joining us, whether you're live or on the replay, could you kindly hit the like button right now? It's a really important message today. Don't go anywhere. We might have a special guest coming in to help us learn a little bit more about healing from traumas. And one of the things that I want to share, I always like to utilize superheroes. And, certain people have abilities that are healing. And you might be able to heal things faster. And society as a whole is going to go through this. You might go through things. You might be experiencing this. Let us know in the comments. You experienced something years ago. It might have taken you 2 months to heal from this trauma. Or it might have taken you, a month or weeks. Now, all of a sudden, you're healing it in days. So our healing ability is happening faster and faster. It reminds me of this one time in the superhero world, Wolverine. I speak about the superheroes, and Apocalypse made this virus that was getting all the mutants. And they had to go from the future to get Wolverine, and he was able to heal from Apocalypse's virus. And from that, they were able to give the cure to all of the mutants because Wolverine was able to heal it. Each and every one of us are superheroes. And because we are able to heal from these traumas, we are able to pass it forward. You could write it in the comments. It's time to pass it forward. Absolutely. I'm reading the chat right now. Some people are dealing with childhood traumas. And again, we're just using that as a teaching tool, but you are all superheroes. And we all have our superhero abilities to go through this. This has been a tough year. And so many things have happened this year. You might have had experiences that you've never had before. And God is saying it's time for you to learn from this. And how can we teach others to heal faster? And because there's a lot of connection, physically, mentally, spiritually. We talk about all three on the channel. Any one of these traumas that you could deal with can cause you to have densities in the body. And we're focused on our health going into 2024. 2024, we're focusing on our health. So a lot of people are focused on this. We're becoming healers. If there was only a healer out there, that could come on in to help us? Can we find a chosen one that could come in to teach us a little bit more about healing densities in the body? Oh, here he is. Oh, some of you might remember the great Adam Gell. Adam, it's good to see you. I got to remember this here. One of the things that a lot of people are dealing with is traumas and how they manifest with physical ailments. And I know you're a very fantastic healer. Anyone would like to subscribe to Adam's channel. Adam has a channel as well. But can you explain to us how when you deal with maybe mental trauma, how it becomes physical in the body?
Well, the energies, right, based upon, I've mentioned this before, the chakra system of our chakras and our connection to the outside world and its connection to our internal organs. When we're blocked in certain areas of our body, they manifest in different chakras of the body, which affect the organs of the body, and then we wind up feeling it. So, for example, for the kidneys, when we're in a state, when our kidneys are drained, when we go through a lot of trauma in terms of fear-based types of emotions, the kidneys themselves will manifest. We'll have lower back pain, we'll have tightness, we'll have issues with forming not a connection to ourselves, but more or less a connection that has to remove the fear in our body. But as Michael was saying, a lot of our emotions themselves are tools for us to actually heal. They're a way for us to look within ourselves, to awaken us to the path of healing ourselves. And when we heal ourselves, then we can heal others. And the desire to heal ourselves gives us the opportunity then to be able to acknowledge or help people acknowledge their physical ailments, which are basically a manifestation of emotions.
One of the things that you just mentioned comes up a lot in our Patreon community, something that I'm going through. A lot of people are dealing with lower back issues. And could you say maybe why so many people are dealing with it in the world now?
Well, I mean, as we know, we're going through the ups and downs of being harassed with being, in a sense, in a state of fear, and having us buy into that concept of, surrendering to what's on the outside as opposed to the empowerment we have within ourselves. And so the lower back is again connected with the kidneys, which is the energy or the emotion of fear and flowing and emotion. And when our emotions are blocked, because we then turn our emotions into a physical ailment rather than going through the fluidity of our feelings, then we wind up taking it in the lower back. It's also associated with financial issues and stability. When a lot of people lost jobs and they didn't have the stability they had from their paycheck or their income, and then losing that stability. A lot of families were broken apart, which also affects that kidney area because of differences of opinions, right? What took place over the last few months or last few years, and is on a continuum in some degree. So yeah, the lower back is that area where we feel the sense of fear. It's the adrenals. If we've burnt ourselves out with high amounts of ups and downs, a fight or flight response, then the kidneys will feel that and will have that type of manifestation.
One of the things that you were mentioning before to me, that a lot of what you're also working with people are awakening from trauma, from religions in the past, how they were treated within their religion, and questioning the way that they were raised. And it's difficult. You wake up one day and you said, I was raised this way, and childhood traumas, I saw that in the comments before. So I said, I was raised this way, and this was all wrong, and I'm dealing with this trauma. So what's your take on when people awaken to maybe trauma from religion or trauma from the way that they were raised?
Yeah, I again, that's in the energy of fear, right? Fear and control. And so, when we're raised or indoctrinated into religions, we're really born into religions, right? We don't really find them unless we find a spiritual path, or we have a calling to go through our traumas and then awaken to a higher energy of whatever calls to us, whether it be Christianity or Judaism or Buddhism, whatever it may be. So basically, people that I communicate with, who I do readings for, I do energy work, they've mentioned to me, as Michael just said, their indoctrination into religion and questioning the things that have kept them in place or kept them stuck, that's traumatized them. their fear of stepping out of that and actually opening up to the energies that exist without dealing with the conventional medicine, that the opportunity for us to deal things holistically as well as energetically. So, yeah.
One of the things we were also talking about, I know you do the physical energy work, but we all can do work ourselves, and the way of letting go of certain things, and how, like, what's advice that you could give to people? Because I'm reading the chat as well. If people are maybe still in the situation, they're constantly dealing with it on a daily basis. How does one let go so that they could actually heal themselves?
Well, I think first off, like you said, I think we have to understand the concept that we have the capacity to heal ourselves. That's the first premise. The fact that we could take the power back to ourselves gives us the opportunity to know that we're in charge of our health. Of course, we need doctors to assist us with certain procedures, but when we let go of the handrail and take the power of our health into our own hands, then we become empowered and then we heal. That's the process of healing, of being independent of what others not tell us, but what others coerce us or we rely upon without questioning. So I think the first thing is to question, to let go, and to have faith in the universe that our body heals itself naturally. If you give it time, it'll find its equilibrium and homeostasis, as opposed to trying to force things and allow things. And as Michael's probably mentioned, the body is giving us messages. And it's giving us hints to what's going on. The things that we're not dealing with emotionally will show up in different places, as I mentioned before, in the body. So it's important to recognize, what am I feeling, as opposed to where am I feeling it. But they can work hand in hand. Because after a while, when we can't deal with the emotions, it manifests into a physical place. And then we say, this hurts me, that bothers me. Because sometimes emotions are too painful. But I think sitting with ourselves in somewhat of not isolation, but being able to endure the journey of healing oneself and dealing with our emotions is the path to healing.
You know, we're all waking up that we have the capacity to heal. And one of the things that I always share is about firsthand experience. And when you're able to do things yourself, you become empowered. And that's like the evidence right there. So someone might be listening to this and say, oh, well, like, I've gone so far. You know, I used to feel like this. Oh, I might just be getting old, but you're not. You're actually under a tremendous amount of stress. And a lot of these things can't happen overnight. You can't, if you are in a situation that stressed you out for years, you can't really expect to heal overnight. So you do need to spend some time, but we do the work. And by sitting quietly, you know, they say that time does allow wounds to heal, and it does. You know, we always share about fake time, but we are living in this world, and time, like, it doesn't happen instantly, but healing is happening at an accelerated rate. And what would you say, first, what we eat or the way that we drink, like stuff that we could do? What are ways that we can heal ourselves with whether food or the ways that we consume water?
Well, I mean, water is important from my understanding, but listening to a lot of the research, we want to make sure that we don't overhydrate, right? Because a lot of the times the water we drink doesn't have the proper amount of salts, which then help the absorption of the water into the cells. And sometimes we overflood the system, and then we become more swollen and more, we hold on to fluid as opposed to actually allowing it to go to the places it does. I just wanted to touch upon something before that you said. A lot of times in our lives, this was an important concept. A lot of times in our lives, what we do is we don't get unconditional love in our homes. We have to do something in order to get love. And usually the first thing we do is we complain of a physical ailment to get attention from our loved ones. And then we wind up thinking that when we go through life that we have to then have a physical ailment or a complaint in order to actually get the attention of people as a means of love. And I think if we recognize the fact of where that wound came from and that source of it, and the lack of the necessity to rely upon our parents still for that that conditioning, that we can take it into our own hands and become our own healers, so to speak. Yeah, that was just something I wanted to touch
Yeah.
upon with that.
Also, emotions being energy, emotion, and shoving it down and not releasing it, and all of a sudden we've built it up.
Yeah.
So release is also important as well.
Yeah, and I think not only the release, we need to exercise. The exercise gives us an energetic release. It removes the emotion. It helps the trapped energy stored in the different chakras get released, and so that's an important aspect. Another thing is it's a lot. It's a lot. It's. I think it's difficult for men to actually express their emotions and be taken serious. That they could be a sensitive person, or they could be somebody that actually feels the intensity of what they feel. And sometimes men have a harder time of releasing these emotions. They get stuck with it and they're not validated. And so you walk around having to then physically complain about different things rather than having someone who can understand your emotions or feelings.
Yeah, I feel that is you just also seeing it in our Patreon community and comments, and what we all have gone through in our journey. A lot of men just shove it down, but we all deal with traumas at work, traumas in the relationship, and by constantly shoving it down, it's making your body worse, and we're really focused on that going into 2024. And you mentioned about exercise, and that's something that I've been telling the community that I've been practicing exercising, getting the energies of the body to move around. We all exercise differently. We do different things. So it's just about the movement. And I've been sharing about my journey. I witnessed you doing some of your exercises. Would you like to share a little bit about about? So we all do magnificent things, and that's why this actually, before we move forward, we're all different. We're doing things, we could be similar, but we're doing it differently. So as I am the heat man, you are the ice man, for example. So I've been sharing on my journey. If you didn't see the other day on the channel, I shared about me being in the sauna, very high temperatures, and hitting different parts of the body using heat. You use ice. He referred to me to use ice. I say, no, I don't want to use the cold. And I tell you, use the heat. And he doesn't want to use the heat. So I want everyone hearing this. Please hit the like button if this is an authentic message today. Everyone thinks they know it all. But there is not one way. One person tells you, you have to do this. You don't have to do it. There is a multiverse of opportunities out there. As I use heat, Adam uses cold. And to me, I don't want to use the cold. And to him, he doesn't want to use the heat. But we also do different exercises as well. So what I do in the gym might not be what you do. And what you do is not what I do. But would you like to share about how you exercise and how you use this energy?
Yeah, in the morning, I find the Wim Hof breathing method a great assistance for my health, and I find it such a stress reducer because, as Michael said, the heat to me, while I go into the sauna once in a while, I have an aversion towards the heat somehow or another. I feel like I'm burning up, and I just feel overwhelmed, like I got to run out of there. With the cold, actually, I feel calmer, and it suits me better because what it does is it lowers my heart rate after a while, and I do feel calmer as opposed to the heat where you feel your heart rate increasing. Inevitably, it reverses after a while. Then your heart rate starts to increase after the cold, and then the heat, your heart rate starts to drop. But what I do in the morning is I do a Wim Hof breath. I breathe for 3 rounds. I breathe for about 5 minutes, and then I hold my breath for about 10 minutes, and then I do 3 rounds of that. And then I get into push-ups where I do breathe in for about 5 minutes, hold my breath, and I do about 70 to 80 push-ups every morning. And then I go into a cold shower, and I find myself invigorated. I find myself alive. And as Michael and I were communicating before, he was discussing calling upon your primordial energy, instincts of survival, of like what it's so important is to test the body, to put your body through like the rigors of what it would be like to have no food, or what it would be like to be in the freezing, or what it would be like to be in the cold. And when you put your body under these stresses, your body produces chemicals in there that help you promote growth hormone and promote like longevity and reduce inflammation and decrease depression. So the things that Michael's touching upon are some of the things I do, and I know I admire the things he's doing, going into that sauna and sitting in there, which is cool.
And I admire you doing that, the breath work, and it's just a great conversation to show people that there's not only one way of doing things. But definitely let us know in the comments, though. I would like to see this. If you utilize either, do you like the heat? Do you utilize the sauna, extreme heat, or do you use the ice bath or extreme cold? So definitely let us know in the comments. 2024 is a year that is going to be like none other, but we're all taking ownership of our health, and applying new concepts. You might have gone about your path, if you're listening in, and you've done something the same way all the time. And then all of a sudden you start doing something different, which I have done, which you have done. So in 2024, before we wrap this up today, what you have any advice of what people could do to really heal from traumas and just improve overall wellness?
Yeah, I think for us to validate our own suffering, our own traumas, that's the first thing. Be cognizant of what you really went through to validate what you experienced. Number two, experiment with techniques, as we discussed, to see what suits you. And if something doesn't work, don't give up, move on to something else, but find a tool bag of support for your own healing. And lastly, we have to love ourselves. We have to realize that we all need to heal, that we all had something, whether it was minute or major, depending upon our level of sensitivity. We may feel it larger than someone else who had something even bigger than us. But nonetheless, I think self-love is important, to be compassionate to ourselves and validate that we need to heal.
Yeah, it's a powerful message. Appreciate you being on. So whether you are new to my channel, hit the subscribe button. You can head over to Adam's channel. Is it still the longest? Is it Adam Gell?
Yeah, I tried to get it on my shirt, but it ran into the second person. So I have to put Conversations with Adam Gell, and the next person is with Inspiring Minds.
It's Conversations with Adam Gell. But if you type in Adam Gell, it should pop up. The link will be in the description as well. So I'm grateful for all of you. Let us know in the comments, what are you experiencing? Are you experiencing healing in your everyday life? That's what we're going to be focused on. I appreciate all the comments. I'm reading the chat right now. We're going to be focused going into 2024, taking ownership of our health, not putting the power outside of us. We've all gone through things. So regardless of what you've gone through in the previous year of 2023, in 2024, you're moving forward, and you're being able to show people how you could heal yourself. Be the lighthouse, right? Once you've overcome it, right? Once you've healed from it, you can move forward and teach others how to heal from similar things as well. So I love each and every one of you. Hit the like button. We'll be back on 9 a.m. Eastern time if today resonated with you. We also have a Patreon. If you'd like to join our Patreon, we host live Zoom meetings. We do this all together as a team, as a group. The link is in the description. We're like the Avengers. So I appreciate each and every one of you being here. You could check out Adam's YouTube channel as well. He does healings as well. And just remember to take ownership and make sure your cup is filled up first. Because if you do want to, I know a lot of people, you go out there and you want to help others, but you can't go out there if your battery is running on empty. So stay focused, heal yourself, and this way you're fully charged, and this way you can help to heal others as well. So I'm grateful for all of you. We'll be back on tomorrow, 9 a.m. Eastern time. Hit the subscribe button, share this video. I feel a lot of people are dealing with traumas in their everyday life. Let us know in the comments, what are you dealing with, and how are you going to move forward in 2024, the year of abundance. I love you all. Have a great day. Namaste.